Same salary, $340,000 apart. The 10 money habits that explain the gap. Same city, same company, same job title. Close enough in salary that the difference doesn't explain what I'm about to show you. One of them is 36 years old, with $340,000 in investments, a paid-off car, and a slow cooker with something in it. The other, 36, $11,000, a $780 a month car payment, and a brokerage account down 23% on a tip that made complete sense at the time. $329,000 apart. Same income, same age, same starting line. And before you say it, no, it wasn't inheritance. The Ramsey Solutions study, 10,000 everyday American millionaires, found 79% received zero, nothing passed down, nothing handed over. A third never made 6 figures in a single year. Their most common career? Not crypto, not Wall Street, accountant. It took them a median of 28 years, not of brilliance, not of perfect timing, just 28 years of doing things so boring, so deeply unglamorous that most people scroll right past them. There is no better. This is it. Let's run the numbers. Habit 1. In 1935, a secretary named Grace Groner bought 3 shares of Abbott stock for $180. She set up automatic dividend reinvestment and then essentially did nothing for 75 years. When she died in 2010, at 100 years old, those 3 shares were worth $7.2 million. She left every single dollar to a college. Here's the data. Vanguard's 2025 research, retirement plans with automatic enrollment get 94% participation. Voluntary enrollment, 64%. 30 percentage points of human behavior gone the moment saving becomes a decision instead of a default. On a $60,000 salary, that gap, compounded at 10% for 30 years, is approximately $400,000. Not from a smarter investment, because one person never had to keep choosing it. The money moves before you see it. Your brain never gets the chance to fight for it. That's not a trick. That's the whole strategy. Habit 2. Drive something paid off and slightly embarrassing. Habit 2. The average new car payment right now, $748 a month. Dealerships figured out they can make almost any number feel affordable. Just stretch the loan. 4 years, then 6, then 7, and now 10-year car loans are a real product that real people are signing. By year 5 of a 7-year loan, you owe more than it's worth, which is exactly when most people trade it in, roll the negative equity forward, and restart the clock on a newer truck. Ronald Reed was a gas station attendant for 25 years and a J.C. Penney janitor for 17. He drove a used Toyota Yaris. He parked far from the meter. He pinned his jacket shut because the lapel was fraying. When he died, he left $8 million to his local hospital and library. That $748 monthly payment, invested in an S&P 500 index fund at 10% for 30 years, becomes $1.69 million. The car payment is the most expensive status symbol in America, and most people paying it genuinely cannot afford it. Habit 3. Cook like your retirement depends on it. Marcus spends $420 a month on food, slow cooker twice a week, groceries on Sunday, most meals at home. Derek spends $900, DoorDash 4 nights a week, restaurant on Friday, lunch near the office daily because packing something takes 15 minutes he doesn't have. That $480 monthly gap, invested at 10% for 25 years, is approximately $630,000 from a slow cooker and a slightly boring Sunday afternoon. Habit 4. Buy less house than the bank will let you. The bank's job is not to tell you what you can comfortably afford. The bank's job is to find the maximum loan it believes you won't immediately default on. Those are 2 completely different numbers. A household keeping housing at 25% of income instead of 35% frees up $10,000 a year. At 10% over 30 years, $1.8 million. Not from a better investment, from buying the second best house. Thomas Stanley studied this for decades. Wealthy accumulators consistently lived in neighborhoods where they were not the richest person on the block. The house was the reason, not the reward. Habit 5. 86% of Americans say they budget. 84% of those people regularly exceed it. That's not budgeting, that's having a number you feel guilty about after the fact, which accomplishes absolutely nothing. Tracking reveals the trades you didn't know you were making, the $340 in forgotten subscriptions, the $600 in convenience fees, the $180 in bank fees on an account you should have switched out of years ago. You cannot make strategic decisions about money you're not watching. Most people aren't watching. Habit 6. Invest every raise before your lifestyle finds out. Derek got a $6,000 raise last year, upgraded the parking spot, started buying lunch daily, forgot to cancel 2 streaming trials. His savings rate didn't move. Marcus got the same raise. Before the first new paycheck arrived, he increased his 401k contribution by $200 a month. He didn't notice the difference, his investments did. Investing half of a $5,000 raise every year for 20 years at 10% compounds to $157,000. The full raise? $315,000, from telling your bank account before you tell your lifestyle. Habit 7. Buy a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, automate contributions, and leave it completely alone. Dalbar's 2025 report, average equity investor earned 16.54% in 2024. The S&P 500 returned 25.02. That 8.5-point gap didn't come from carelessness, it came from trying. Investors predicted market direction correctly only 25% of quarters, worse than a coin flip. The people who were trying, that trying was exactly what cost them. After 15 years, there are 0 fund categories where the majority of professional active managers beat their benchmark. 0. People with Bloomberg terminals, research analysts, decades of experience, they can't do it consistently. Habit 8. 37% of American adults in 2024 couldn't cover a $400 emergency with cash, a flat tire, a copay, a dog that ate something on a Saturday. 1 in 3 people finances that at 22.3% interest while trying to build wealth at 10%. You cannot do both. The emergency is eating the investment. Habit 9. A Brazilian study tracked 1,600 committed day traders. 97% lost money. Only 1.1% earned more than minimum wage. The rule is simple. If someone is excited to bring you an opportunity, be proportionally skeptical. Real wealth building is boring to describe. If it sounds exciting, that's usually the warning label. Habit 10. The 72-hour rule. The average American spends $3,381 a year on impulse purchases. Impulse desire has a half-life. The urgency drops sharply within 24 to 72 hours, and 60 to 70% of wish-listed items are never purchased when even mild friction is introduced. Cut impulse spending in half, that's $141 monthly saved. Compounded at 10% over 25 years, approximately $180,000 from a calendar reminder and 3 days of patience. Let's close the loop. Marcus is 36, $340,000 in investments, paid-off car, slow cooker, a high-yield savings account he barely thinks about. He's not wealthy yet, but at his current trajectory, by 55, he'll have somewhere between $1.2 and $1.5 million. No career change, no lucky break, no exciting opportunity, just 19 more years of compounding, doing exactly what compounding does when you leave it alone. Derek is 36, $11,000, a car worth less than he owes on it, and a Robinhood account down 23% on a tip that made complete sense at the time. He's not a failure, he's not irresponsible, he's just been optimizing every single day for how things feel in the moment instead of what they add up to over time. And the gap that started as almost nothing is now $329,000, and it is compounding wider every single year. When something goes wrong for Marcus, it's an inconvenience. When something goes wrong for Derek, it's a crisis. Same salary, completely different experience of being alive. Grace Groner did this with $180 and 3 shares of stock. Ronald Reed did it on a janitor's salary with a safety pin holding his jacket together. Warren Buffett, worth over $100 billion, still lives in the house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. They didn't have better information. They didn't find the thing. They just let boring run long enough to become extraordinary. Pick one habit from this list. Do it this week. Not all 10, one. The compound effect doesn't require perfection. It just requires that you stop waiting for the exciting version of this to show up. It won't. This is the version, and it works. If this changed how you think about any of it, hit subscribe. We run exactly this kind of math every single week. And drop in the comments the financial trap you want me to break down next. I'll make it thoroughly unsexy and genuinely useful.